Hi, Karl de Leeuw here. Why minerals, naturally, are everything in health. My documentary is to set out how and why we can beat the medical system. Not because medicine is bad. There are reasons why it is sometimes good, but prevention will allow us to live healthy much longer. This is what Thomas Edison said. The doctor of the future will no longer treat the human frame with drugs, but rather will cure and prevent disease with nutrition. Antoine Bechamp versus Louis Pasteur. In the late 19th century, there were two amazing characters who were both French. Antoine Bechamp was a quiet man and not wealthy, but his compatriot Louis Pasteur was well-spoken and wealthy. Pasteur pushed for his germ theory and won the day, which is why we today have modern medicine. However, in notes found by Louis Pasteur's son after his death, Pasteur said that Antoine got it right. It is all in the terrain. So what is the terrain? It is best described by this photo of a fish in a bowl. Antoine Bechamp believed that if you have a non-toxic body, no disease can take hold. So it's like cleaning a fish tank, but only that you clean your body. Whereas, as mentioned, Louis Pasteur's theory is a germ theory. Here your body is toxic, and that is why germs can attack. Later, I will show you how to make your terrain, as set up by Antoine Bechamp, non-toxic, so that you can repel any disease. Yes, any disease. I got rid of my asthma in 9 months flat by changing my diet. No more Ventolin pumps and ending up in hospital on a nebulizer twice. Very early on, I discovered the Hunzakuts in my studies. The Hunzakuts lived 120 years on average, although some dispute it. Here's a video of the Hunzakuts playing volleyball during the 1960s, and some of them are 80 years young. So how is this possible? It turns out they mainly cut out meat, dairy, eggs, and pesticides from their diet. So then I studied the other 7 longevity nations that live today, and voila! Again, they cut out meat, dairy, eggs, and pesticides in food. Next, I turned to the China study. In the mid-70s, the Premier of China, with the help of Cornell University in the US and Oxford University in the UK, surveyed 96% of the then 880 million Chinese population. And again, the findings were the same. In this case, the cause of cancer, interestingly, is meat, dairy, eggs, and pesticides. So how is all of this possible? The first answer lies in the pH of the body. Yes, so simple. Our blood's pH runs at 7.365, and if it goes more than 0.5 pH up or down, you die. There are 3 systems that regulate pH in the body: your blood, your lungs, and your kidneys. They all work flat out to make sure your blood pH stays in a range close to 7.365. All meat, dairy, and eggs before they enter the body are alkaline, so above 7.365 pH. However, after digestion, they all become acidic forming. This is called a PRAL score. So your body becomes like a feisty, spiky acid car battery. Fruit and veg work different. A lemon that is say 3 to 4 pH before it enters the body and acidic, after digestion becomes alkaline. Again, a PRAL score. However, on the other hand, broccoli that is say 8 pH before it enters the body stays alkaline after digestion. So in summary, all fruit and veg, whether acid or alkaline before entering the body, are alkaline forming after digestion. Where the alkaline industry gets it wrong is that you need acids as well. Yin and yang. For every negative, there's a positive. Nutritionists talk about 6 nutrient items being important in the body that we will discuss later on. However, the big one most nutritionists do not appreciate is that pH is like the conductor in the body. It is just like conducting an orchestra. If the different musicians in the orchestra don't all play music together in tune, you have a bit of a mess. So let's take iodine as example. If your body's pH is not very close to 7.365, iodine cannot be absorbed. Yes, unless your body pH is optimal, then people with thyroid issues have problems. Before we discuss 3 examples of how pH affects the body, we first need to turn to the 4 main alkaline minerals. They are sodium, potassium, calcium, and magnesium. These 4 alkaline minerals are the main guys that save us. Yes, they are working so hard in the bodies of people that eat meat, dairy, and eggs. It is not funny. So sodium, potassium, calcium, and magnesium, being the 4 main alkaline minerals, are the heroes in our body. And the reason why the heading of this chat is why minerals naturally are everything in health. Let's now explain how these 4 main alkaline minerals interact in 3 common diseases. We will start with people suffering from osteoporosis. As you know, people with osteoporosis have brittle bones. What happens is that, as discussed before, the blood has to stay within 0.5 pH of 7.365 pH. As 99% of the Western diet is acidic forming, for those with osteoporosis, because of their genes, the osteoporosis sufferer's blood pulls calcium out of his/her bones in order to neutralize the acidity in his/her body. My theory, therefore, is that genes dictate what alkaline minerals your body will pull and from where. In the case of someone with osteoporosis, the body has to get the alkaline mineral calcium from their bones to neutralize their acidic blood and keep their blood within 0.5 pH of 7.365 pH. So already very simple stuff. But the average medical doctor only studies nutrition 1 day in their 7 or so years of study, and this is not taught in the medical journals. I'm all for medicine in certain situations, like if I'm in a car accident, I want medical intervention. But we need to go for what causes diseases rather than treat the symptoms. This will save Western governments trillions of dollars. Now for people suffering from multiple sclerosis. People suffering with MS is a really interesting topic, and here I have a theory. As soon as I found out how pH works and the importance of the 4 main alkaline minerals discussed, I knew that the myelin sheath around an MS person's nerves must consist of alkaline minerals. And yes, it does. I did not even bother checking which one of the alkaline minerals. So around our nerves, we have insulators called myelin sheaths. Like electrical wire, that has insulation around the wire. With an MS person, my theory is again that because our blood has to stay within 0.5 pH of 7.365 pH, in an MS person's case, his or her body has to find alkaline minerals to neutralize the acidic forming meat, dairy and egg diet. So with the person with MS, the mainly alkaline myelin sheath erodes over time so that an MS person's nerves touch, and that is what is called cross chatter. The last disease is cystic fibrosis. With this one, I don't know exactly how it works, but is the one that makes the most sense. As discussed before, our blood, lungs and kidneys regulate our body's pH. So lungs are one of the organs that regulate pH, making this one easy. Cystic fibrosis is all about the lungs, so a meat, dairy and egg diet that is acidic forming will drive the lungs crazy. The big question, therefore, is what is the correct diet? And this is where things get interesting. I turned to a vegan diet 10 years ago, but when I tested my mineral and vitamin levels through saliva, blood and urine tests, I lacked key minerals. The way I resolved this was to go Seagan and 70% organic. Seagan is the new name for vegans that eat fish. Vegans correct their lack of minerals and vitamins by popping pills, either made by drug companies or via where food was elementized into different minerals and vitamins. In nature, minerals and vitamins dance together. They are not elementized. We need minerals and vitamins naturally via food. So you might claim, but fish is acidic forming, referring to the PRAL scores we discussed before. Yes, but overall diet via Seagan diet is 80% alkaline, and that is okay. In my view, over the next 10 to 20 years, we need to go Seagan for two main reasons, with the Seagan being vegan and fish and 70% organic. The reasons are, one of my best school pals in South Africa is a butcher. A Seagan diet is an interim step before going vegan, and we correct mistakes in veganism. So a previously meat, dairy and eggs and pesticide person can now grill a tuna steak as an example. The second reason I discussed before is that a vegan diet currently doesn't provide all the minerals and vitamins naturally. Fortunately, this can be fixed, and I have a study called Minerals in Plants. As mentioned, I have a study called Minerals in Plants, where I want to show how we can increase minerals and vitamins in food by growing plants in soil that is naturally rich in the four main alkaline minerals. A geologist and a mineralogist found soil in two places on Earth that is rich in sodium, potassium, calcium, and magnesium. The other key to the study is to feed the plants with structured water, but the importance here is to have a bar pressure in the structured water device of between 10 and 15 bar, whereas normal pressure in mains water is about 3 bar. Another element of the structured water device is its flow, so you must have at least a 2-inch or 50 mm diameter inlet. All that the structured water device is a tube with balls in it, and water gets pushed over the balls at high pressure and flows. This is to mimic water being energized, similar to water naturally running over cobblestones in rivers. On water generally, certainly in the UK and US, normal tap water is okay in my view. If you put an industrial sized structured water device where your mains water comes into the house, then this will help. But please don't use a handheld structured water device. They are rubbish You have to get a lot of flow and pressure for it to work. Earlier on, I mentioned the 6 items nutritionists refer to. They are minerals, vitamins, water, carbs, fats, and proteins. As mentioned, we need to add the 7th, being pH. A Seagan diet has all 6 nutrients. Let's go through them. We have already discussed how a Seagan diet overcomes the lack of minerals and vitamins. We also covered water before. Now to carbohydrates. Potatoes, rice, and ancient grains of buckwheat, millet, quinoa, etc. that are all gluten-free is fine. With fats, in my view, all that happens when you eat animal fats via meat, dairy, and eggs and pesticide diet is that your arteries and veins get lined with sticky animal fats and become the reason for stents. So Seagan diet fats are the good omega fats that don't clog up your arteries. And now for the biggest myth of all, protein. All fruit or veg contain protein, and certainly fish. I tested my amino acid levels via a cheap urine test, and they are all there. Sea salt. Did you know that the word celery comes from sea salt? Years ago, it was such an important trading commodity that traders used it like we use money today. Sodium and chloride make up 85% of sea salt, and the other 15% contain the 4 main alkaline minerals, plus 80 or so trace minerals. So what has gone wrong since then? The answer lies in that the industrial community torture sea salt by cooking it at incredibly high temperatures, like 300 degrees Celsius, to get rid of all the minerals except sodium and chloride. This is then used for oil and gas exploration, drilling, road building, textile manufacturing, rubber manufacturing, and others. What then happens is that the food industry gets 10% of the leftover from the industrial community and uses this as table salt. It is table salt that is the baddie and the reason for high blood pressure. The food industry loves table salt, that is just sodium chloride, because the alkaline minerals and the 80 or so trace minerals that have been removed would have reacted with the food when used as a preservative. So table salt is used as a preservative, but all the good alkaline minerals have been removed. Now for the most important part, the healing crisis. A Seagan and 70% organic diet washes your body, and the acids and pesticides that are trapped in your cells get spewed into your bloodstream. It also washes out the cholesterol trapped inside your blood vessels. However, during this washing process, you temporarily get sick, while all these baddies gets expelled out of your body, and this is the healing crisis. Just know that when you get sick, you are healing, and running to your doctor is not going to help, because 99% of doctors currently will just give you drugs and don't understand nutrition. For a free program for asthmatics and any disease, please go to lll.info/asthma. Yes, it is all free.